Hello, I'm Jared Willits, and welcome to My Thoughts for What They're Worth, episode number 15. Before we get into it, I would appreciate a like, a share, or maybe even a subscribe here on our channels. We have a YouTube channel, as you may know, because you may be watching, or you may be listening on Spotify. My Thoughts for What They're Worth. Please, if you feel so inclined, to like, share, and to subscribe. That would help us in moving the podcast forward, wherever it might go. Let's see here. Today's effort is entitled A Heartbeat Away. You know what I'm talking about. The Vice President of the United States. That phrase has been used any number of times for, again, campaigns. Like this person, who's a vice presidential candidate, they're only a heartbeat away from taking over the country. Are they qualified? You really want this person sitting behind the resolute desk with the hotline an arm's length away? A heartbeat away. Now, if you go to the government's website, they do have a job description for VP. They do. It just says essentially that the vice president has to be ready at any moment, at a moment's notice, to take over the presidency in case there is a death or incapacitation of one sort or another. Got to get in there right away, seamlessly, sit behind the big desk, and run the country just like that. In reality, I think we all know that the vice presidency is a little less than that. Now, sure, the VP gets to break a tie in the Senate. All right, that's a big deal. But mostly it's going to state funerals, hanging out with the congressmen and the senators, other government officials, a lot of smiling, a lot of parties, things of that nature. Not necessarily being fully qualified to run the country. John Adams said of the vice presidency, he said it was the most worthless office invented by mankind, a pointless effort. Later on down the line, another vice president, I really don't remember who, I'm sorry, said that the vice presidency is worth about as much as a bucket of spit. Anyway, so really, it hasn't been, anything big, really. And well, it's vice president, sure, and you get a nice airplane, but in terms of what you're really there for, it's not. So this time around the block, I think it's going to be a little bit different. I think the vice president and the vice presidential candidate are going to be more important. Why? Can we be honest? We've talked about this before. Joe and Donald are a bit old. Well, they're a lot old. And, the odds are maybe they won't make it through 4 years if reelected or elected. And that would put the vice president right there in the Oval Office taking care of business. So it would seem this year, it's on people's minds, I think, reasonably so, that that Joe and Donald, the best America has to offer, might not make it all the way through. So we've got current Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, not everyone, certainly not everyone, but a lot of people, even on the Democratic side, are saying the quiet part out loud, that she really isn't, overly qualified to be the President of the United States. Hasn't done a lot to impress anybody with her specific set of skills to move up to the presidency. And they're thinking, well, maybe she's a little bit of a weakness on the ticket. And maybe, just maybe, people have talked about this, most of the people on the right, I guess it's a conspiracy theory, I guess you can call it that the Biden campaign will find some way to move her off the ticket. How they do that, only they would know. But it would be something that we could all believe and understand, even though we know why they're doing it. We'll take whatever they say, tell us and run with it. But we'll see. Time will tell. I think that unlikely that'll happen. So you got Kamala Harris as vice president and running for the office yet again with Joe Biden. So Donald Trump, whomever he picks, I think whomever is right. I'm not sure. Always confuses me. It was going to be really important. Can this person take over the job if Donald Trump is elected and doesn't make it all the way through the 4 years? Now, he has said, I think that whoever he picks, whomever is going to be qualified to do the job in case of an emergency. That's all we know. He's floated all sorts of names, said all sorts of things about all sorts of people, some good, some bad, then good and bad, back and forth. And all the talking heads and all the shows are talking about it all the time, saying, well, this person, I think this person has a good shot at it because of that, or this person doesn't have a good shot at it because so on and so forth. In any event, I think the bottom line is his vice presidential pick is going to be more important than in prior campaigns, and more important than just bringing in a particular group of people that may not really be big fans of Donald Trump. So, when the announcement happens, we'll find out, and then the race is on for the Oval Office yet again. What fun it will be. And those are my thoughts for what they're worth. I'm Jared Willits.